Let's not forget that this big shift that we have seen in the Star Wars universe, where Disney's mainly focusing, or has been focusing, on TV shows rather than movies, all originates to Kathleen Kennedy's call on really creating a hiatus on Star Wars movies, and how Bob Iger, a couple years ago at the time, agreed to actually take part in keeping that hiatus active over at Disney. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, that is something that Bob Iger is now trying to reverse. He wants to focus on movies again, rather than TV shows. Now, that's not to say that TV shows are just gonna vanish into thin air or anything like that. It's just that they're going to begin to minimalize TV shows over the course of the next couple of years, as they want to focus on films again. Multiple movies a year again is what they want to do, within a 12-month span I'm talking about. So that's what Marvel does already, and that's what Disney wants to do with Star Wars. By the way, this is what Chapek wanted to do, except Chapek wanted to drag it out more and go at this very slow, where now Bob Iger wants to speed things up, get these movies out, focus less on Star Wars TV shows on Disney+. The thing is, Bob Iger is coming to the realization that movies drag in more revenue. It's just a fact. Now, going on to the next thing here, alright? What Favreau and Filoni have planned, alright? Something very specific and very substantial toward the sequel trilogy movies, and exactly what they have in store, or what kind of strategy they have in place to actually change many elements of those movies. So let's get right into it. Now, with George Lucas now very much involved with the new Star Wars projects by Favreau and Filoni, it's noted, however, that Favreau and Filoni currently have a full mapped out plan on how they are going to reset and restart elements of the sequel trilogy lore in the Star Wars franchise. Now, just recently, both John and Dave pitched multiple ideas to the Disney board about the use of a storyline enabling the world between worlds to shift certain decisions that characters make in order to change certain events in the sequel trilogy movies. As it turns out, this is John and Dave's main plan to reset many story pieces of films like The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and that George Lucas is going to be helping out with this, of course, brand new way of storytelling. Now, Dave Filoni was the first to utilize this in Star Wars Rebels Season 4, and now Favreau wants to do this in live-action form with a planned Season 2 of the Ahsoka series that will dive fully into the world between worlds realm, and that they are planning to heavily start establishing this as soon as 2025, when they plan to get the second season out for Ahsoka. Let me just stop here quick for a second. Now, the thing about the world between worlds, some fans like this, some fans absolutely resent this entire idea, because let's face it, at the end of the day, it is time travel, but it's Dave Filoni's version of time travel. Basically, the character does not literally go to that point in time. The character can literally interact with that point in time through a portal and change things if need be. Now, that's exactly what Ezra Bridger did when Ahsoka was fighting Vader. He pulled Ahsoka through that portal, saved her life, and it turned the events of history. Had he not pulled her out, she would have very well been dead by the hands of Vader. Or maybe, who knows, things could have reversed, you know, for all we know. Maybe it's that Vader could have been killed at that point in time, and the whole events of the original trilogy altered, for all we know, right? Now, the thing about this is that when you look at everything related to the WBW, is that there's so much unknown lore about it. Dave Filoni himself said that there are a lot of rules associated with the world between worlds that I have yet to have written. And him saying that really kind of throws out so many different possibilities of exactly how specifically they are going to go about using the WBW to change the events of the sequel trilogy movies if this realm holds certain rules, and if those rules are broken, it could actually lead to major consequences. So let's move on to the next thing here. So on top of all of this too, These changes are said to actually mostly impact the character of Luke Skywalker and even Rey in the Star Wars universe, and how it's going to provide Jon and Dave more opportunities for the future of Star Wars with post-Episode 9 content that they plan on developing, one of which is already in development as we speak. Disney CEO Bob Iger is said to have already agreed on using this way of storytelling for the Ahsoka series to change the events in the sequel trilogy movies so that Jon and Dave have more options to play with in the Star Wars world. Now, one thing that we do know about the first season of Ahsoka is that it is going to tease the world between worlds. A set was built that actually was made all out of hard foam and wood that actually was in the exact framing of the portals that you see in the WBW in Rebels Season 4. And that set that was being built to recreate the world between worlds actually had a lot of green screens intact. Now, the thing about that, too, given that they will be teasing this in Season 1 and leaving a big thing open for Season 2, I think is a great way of marketing. It's going to keep fans very excited for 2025. It's going to keep every fan out there, very engaged with the Ahsoka series and what kind of changes are going to be implemented into the sequel trilogy films. Now, the fact that Bob Iger agreed with Favreau and Filoni about this almost immediately, I think it just goes to show you that how desperate Disney has become. They want to change things as fast as possible and as smoothly as possible. They want to make sure that the choices that they are about to make is really going to seem authentic and genuine toward the fans. And if they have Jon and Dave doing this, it's going to work out just fine. So, the thing about the Ahsoka series too is that it's not just going to be about the world between worlds getting teased. It is also going to be about Jedi temples and hidden areas across the entire galaxy that have been left behind. I mean, there's a lot of lore, and especially Legends lore, coming back to life in the Ahsoka show. So that brings us to the next big thing. So, given that these changes are mostly going to be implemented toward characters like Luke and Rey, alright? That really does raise a lot of questions. Now, we already know that there's a lot of discussions between the Disney board members, as we talked about just yesterday, that they want to reverse Luke Skywalker's death somehow, some way. And I kept on saying the only way to go about doing that was through the world between worlds. Do I think that they're going to use that to reverse Luke's death? I'm really not quite sure about that. It seems like Disney would rather go the alternate route of, like I discussed, how they already created a plan to have Luke use the power of the wills to become flesh and blood again, temporarily speaking, except turn that temporary scenario into a permanent solution. That could very well be the alternate take that they are going to actually pursue at this point in time. So anyways, drop a comment below, guys. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.